Ever wonder what would happen if you stopped eating sugar for 14 days? No, I'm not talking about quitting fruits or natural sugars. I mean cutting back on foods and drinks loaded with added sugars. Talking about the cookies, the cakes, the milk chocolate, the candy, the pastries, the sugary cereals, the ice cream, all the good stuff, right? Here's the thing, sugar isn't the villain the diet culture often makes it out to be. In fact, as a dietitian who believes all the foods can fit into a healthy diet, I'm not here to demonize sugar, but I do think it's helpful to understand how different foods, especially those high in added sugars, impact our bodies when we consume them or when we remove them. If you often experience uncontrollable cravings, high and low energy fluctuations, mood swings, among other symptoms, then this video may be exactly what you need. In this video, we're going to speak to the science of sugar reduction, the benefits that you may experience after just 14 days of cutting it out, and why this isn't really about just going sugar-free forever. So want to see what happens if you cut out sugar completely for 14 days? Make sure you keep watching. Hey guys, I'm Andres, a registered dietitian and nutrition coach. Welcome back to my channel. I help men achieve their health and body goals without resorting to extreme and unsustainable diets. So if you're new here, welcome. If you want more science-backed nutrition advice that actually fits into your life and makes sense, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. In today's video, we're tackling the topic that's often misunderstood, which is sugar. More specifically, what happens when you remove added sugars from your diet for just 14 days. I have talked about sugar before in my previous videos, and I have shared even alternative desserts that you can choose over the sugar-filled counterpart. You can see those in the description. But I've never really delved into the sugar removal topic. So today we're going to be doing just that. We look at the short-term effects, the potential benefits, and what this really means for you and for your overall health. And don't worry, this isn't about banning sugar forever or making you feel guilty about enjoying the occasional sweet treat. My goal here is to help you understand the role that sugar plays in your diet and how small realistic changes can lead to big results. So let's dive in. Sugar is everywhere, from the obvious places like candy and soda to the not so obvious ones like salad dressings, bread, and even some health foods. I know, crazy, right? It's no wonder that the average person consumes far more sugar than they realize and more than what's recommended for good health. In fact, adults in the US on average consume about 17 teaspoons of added sugar every day, which is more than 2 to 3 times the recommended daily allowance for men and women. For historical comparison, in 1822, the average American ate in 5 days the amount of sugar found in one of today's 12-ounce sodas. Now we eat that much every 7 hours. Now let me be clear, sugar itself isn't inherently bad. Our bodies need the glucose, which is a type of sugar, for energy. But the problem lies in the overconsumptions of added sugars. These extra sweeteners that manufacturers are putting into food and drinks to enhance their flavor. Over time, this can lead to energy crashes, weight gain, inflammation, and even increased risk of chronic diseases. But here's the good news. Your body is very adaptive. When you reduce or eliminate added sugars, even just for 14 days, you can start to feel noticeable changes. And that's what we're here to explore. What happens when you cut back on these hidden sugars and how can it impact your energy, your mood, and your overall health? Understanding this isn't about fear or restriction. It's about awareness and making choices that work best for you. So let's break it down. Let's start with days 1 to 3. I'm gonna call this the adjustment period. When you first cut out added sugars, the initial few days can feel like a roller coaster. This is because your sugar activates the reward centers in our brain, much like other addictive substances. When you suddenly remove it, your brain has to adjust to the lack of that dopamine hit, and this can lead to some uncomfortable symptoms and feelings. Here's what you may experience during this adjustment period. And again, this is going to be dependent on how much sugar you were consuming in the first place. Number 1 is cravings. Your body has grown accustomed to frequent sugar intake, so it's natural to experience strong cravings. These cravings typically peak around day 2 or 3 as your brain starts to rebalance. Number 2 is mood swings and irritability. Without the quick energy boost from sugar, you might feel more irritable or notice mood swings. This is part of your body learning to regulate energy levels more effectively without that sugar. 3, it's headaches and fatigue. These symptoms are common during the first few days as your body detoxes from sugar, even though I don't like to use that term, and shift from using alternative energy sources like fats or complex carbohydrates. Now here's a question a lot of people ask me. Is sugar addictive? The reality is that this is very controversial. In 2019, researchers from the University of Minnesota explored this very same question and indeed found that there are reward parts of the brain that get activated reminiscent to those areas in connection with addiction. You may have heard about these headlines a few years back where they were talking about sugar lighting up the same parts of the brain that are lighted up by drugs like cocaine. This is still highly debated, mostly because a lot of these studies were conducted in rodents. Now, what is clear though, it's that people have a hard time giving up sweets. You probably have. From my perspective, I think that is rooted in a combination of factors like an emotional connection with sugar, like maybe a memory of your mom's cookies baking, for example. Habit, which is maybe always having something sweet after lunch, which is my case. And a chemical attraction, which is the release of feel-good chemicals in the brain when you have it. Then we go in the second part of the week, days 4 to 7. We're gonna call this stabilization. By days 4 to 7, your body begins to adapt to the lack of added sugars and many of the initial symptoms start to subside. This is where you'll likely notice some positive changes kicking in as your energy levels and cravings begin to stabilize. Here's what might happen during that period. You may have improved energy levels. Now, without the highs and the lows caused by sugar spikes and crashes, your energy levels become more consistent. You may feel less dependent on that mid-afternoon sugar fix or extra cup of coffee to power you through the day. Number 2 is reduce sugar cravings. Your taste buds and brain begin to reset, making overly sweet foods less appealing. You may even start to notice the natural sweetness in fruit and other whole foods a lot more than you used to before. Number 3, you may have better focus and mental clarity. Because you have stable blood sugar levels, your brain has a steady supply of energy, which can improve your concentration and that mental sharpness that sometimes we need. I'm gonna give you a few tips for succeeding in here. This is a great tip to double down on building habits that support these positive changes. I would focus on eating balanced meals with plenty of protein, healthy fats, and fiber to keep your blood sugar steady. Snack on whole foods like nuts, seeds, veggies, maybe with some hummus to maintain energy throughout the day. By the end of this phase, many people start to feel the benefits of reduced sugar intake, which can serve as a powerful motivation to keep on going. It's no longer just about cutting out the sugar, it's about experiencing the way your body really thrives without those constant spikes and crashes. In days 7 to 10, the effects of reducing added sugar start to extend beyond your physical health and into your mental and emotional well-being. This is when many people begin to feel deeper, more rewarding benefits of a stabilized diet. Here's what you may experience during this phase. Number 1, it's enhanced mood stability. With fewer blood sugar fluctuations up and downs, your mood becomes more consistent. You may feel less irritable and anxious and notice a sense of emotional balance throughout the day. Number 2 is improved sleep quality. Added sugars can interfere with your sleep by causing energy crashes or affecting your hormones. As your body adapts, you might maybe find yourself falling asleep more easily and waking up feeling more rested. Number 3, it's increased mental clarity. We talked about this in the previous section too, but stable blood sugars means your brain has more reliable energy sources, which can improve your stability to focus and think clearly. Many people describe this as feeling less foggy or more productive. Some tips for success during this period: it's prioritizing sleep hygiene to complement the benefits that you're noticing. So aim for consistent sleep and wake times, and also avoid caffeine or heavy meals late in the evening. If you're craving a sweet snack at night, I would try to maybe do something naturally sweetened, maybe like a small bowl of berries. But at this point, you're likely starting to feel noticeable differences in your overall well-being too. The changes in your mood, your sleep, your mental clarity are start to be powerful reminders that cutting back on added sugars doesn't just benefit your body, but it also benefits your mind. And then by days 10 to 14, you start to notice physical changes. Now, the physical benefits of reducing added sugars become more apparent. This is a phase where it's often seen where people start to see measurable changes in their body, which can be incredibly motivating. Here's what you may notice. Number 1 is maybe you have reduced bloating because you're cutting back on sugar. Sugar itself may not be causing the bloating, but it often means that you're maybe consuming fewer processed foods, which are typically high in sodium and other preservatives, which can lead to a reduction in water retention and bloating, making you feel lighter. Number 2, which is what most people want, is weight loss. What weight loss isn't really guaranteed. Some people notice a decrease in the scale. This is really often the result of reduced calorie intake from cutting out a lot of sugary snacks and drinks, as well as shedding the water weight as well that comes with that. I think this is really what drives into that. It's like you're not eating as often because you feel more satisfied. A nice benefit is a healthier skin. Excess sugar can contribute to skin issues like acne. Now, this is something that it's still controversial, but by reducing your added sugars, you may start to see clearer and more radiant skin. Number 3, it's improved metabolic health. Even within 14 days, reducing or cutting out sugar, research suggests that reducing sugar can improve your insulin sensitivity, which means your body becomes more efficient at processing blood sugars. This can lower your risk of developing metabolic conditions over time, like diabetes. Now, I'm not going to get too much into the details in the research, but this is a great review that explored the effects on metabolism of 6 different types of sugar, because newsflash, not all sugar is the same. Some tips for success during this period, which is honestly the last one. I would say keep celebrating these changes as signs that your body's responding well to a more balanced diet. If you're tempted to maybe reintroduce sugary foods, I would do so mindfully. Perhaps maybe with a treat that you've truly missed, a couple pieces of dark chocolate or something like that. I would also pay attention to how your body feels afterwards to continue building awareness around those food choices. By the end of these 14 days, you'll likely notice a combination of physical improvements, and you may feel more in control control of your cravings and your energy. These changes are a powerful testament of how even making the small shifts in your diet can make such a huge difference. Now, what happens after 14 days? After completing 14 days without added sugars, the benefits that you've experienced might keep you wondering, well, should I keep it going? Now, the truth is, cutting out sugar entirely isn't really necessary for long-term health. The key lies in moderation and understanding how sugar fits into your overall diet, and is really dependent on the person as well. Now, here's a few things that you can consider moving forward. Number one, sustainable habits over restriction. The real value of this experiment is the awareness that it can create. You've likely noticed how reducing added sugar impacts your energy, your mood, and your physical health. Now, you can use this knowledge to guide your future decisions, focusing on moderation rather than elimination. I mean, if you feel great, why go back to feeling like crap, right? But it doesn't have to be a black or white mentality. Number two is your improved relationship with food. Many people find that after cutting added sugars, they have a healthier perspective on sweets. You might feel less controlled by cravings and more confident in enjoying sugar treats occasionally without overindulging. Now, there's a caveat to that. When sugar is removed as an obligation and it feels extremely restrictive, that restrictive mindset can backfire. What I mean by this, and what I've seen, is that extreme removals, particularly long terms of something that you actually like and enjoy, eventually may lead to that fuck it mentality that ends up creating binges and overconsumption of sugar in certain occasions. Another part of it is lasting health benefits. I mean, continuing to limit added sugars, it's always going to help you maintaining not only energy levels in your mood, but also your metabolic health, because you already started to see that. There's some really cool data also suggesting that long-term moderation can reduce the risk of chronic conditions like type 2 diabetes and heart disease. Number four is mindful reintroduction. If you decide to reintroduce sugary foods, do so mindfully. Start with smaller portions of foods, maybe that you truly enjoy, and pay attention to how your body responds, as I mentioned earlier. This way, you can strike a balance between enjoying treats and maintaining the benefits that you worked so hard to accomplish. Some other tips for success on sugar removal or long-term sugar removal, it's maybe make it a habit to read food labels and look for hidden sugars, especially in processed foods. Labels are now required to include added sugars and their nutritional facts, so look for that. Also, stick to a diet that is rich in whole foods, vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, and healthy fats, and use added sugar sparingly to enhance your meals without relying on them for energy. The takeaway is this: reducing sugar doesn't necessarily mean giving it up forever. It's about understanding how it affects your body, empowering you to make choices that align with your health and lifestyle goals. This experiment isn't the end, it's the beginning of a more balanced and maybe intentional approach to your nutrition. Now, I wanted to finish today's video addressing some misconceptions about sugar. When it comes down to sugar, there are a lot of myths and misunderstandings out there, so let's clear up a few things. The goal of this video isn't really to make you fear sugar or think it's something that you have to eliminate forever. Instead, it's about understanding its role in your diet and how you can manage it in a way that works for you. Here's some common misconceptions about sugar and the truth behind them. Number one is that sugar is all bad. The reality is your body needs sugar, specifically glucose, for energy. Now, some people in the low carb, keto, carnivore communities would disagree with that. I think for the majority of people, this is important. The problem isn't really natural sugars found in fruits, dairy, and whole foods. It's the added sugars that are added in processed foods and drinks that we tend to overconsume. Reducing these added sugars can make a big difference without cutting out naturally sweet foods. Second myth is that you must go sugar-free to be healthy. Health is about balance, not extremes. You don't need to avoid sugar entirely to be or see benefits. Learning how to incorporate it in moderation by focusing on nutrient-dense foods is a more sustainable approach. Number three, cutting out sugars will solve all your health problems. While reducing added sugars can improve your energy, your mood, and your overall health, it's just one piece of a very large puzzle. A balanced diet, regular exercise, good sleep, and stress management are all essential parts of a healthy lifestyle. And the last one, sugar detoxes are the only way to reset your body. The reality is you don't need a detox to feel better or improve your health. Your body's already equipped to detox itself through your liver and your kidneys. Now, reducing sugar is more about creating healthier habits and following a rigid or restrictive plan. Now, you may be thinking, well, Andres, but you're saying to cut out sugar for 14 days. Isn't that a detox? Well, this is more of an experiment or maybe a visual exercise for you to understand what would happen if you did. Now, if you want to consider it as a detox, as long as you have an intention for it, totally okay. It's just not really a detox of what's happening. Here's the bottom line, guys. Sugar isn't the enemy, but understanding where it comes from and how it affects your body can empower you to make more mindful choices. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. By approaching sugar with balance and awareness, you can enjoy the foods you love while prioritizing your health. Now, besides all the other tips I gave you, I figured I would give you some extra ones that you can start to implement. So here are practical tips to help you succeed, whether you're cutting this back for 14 days or making long-term changes. Number one is start gradually. You don't have to go cold turkey. You can begin by cutting out the most obvious sources of added sugars like sugary drinks or desserts, comforts and work your way towards more subtle sources like condiments and packaged snacks. Number 2, we talked about this, read labels. Sugar hides in unexpected places under names like sucrose, high fructose corn syrup, and maltose. Check ingredient list and the added sugar section on the nutrition labels can help you really make a lot of those informed choices. Number 3, replace sugary snacks or sugary drinks. Swap out high sugar snacks for nutrient-dense options like fresh fruit or plant yogurt with drizzle of honey, maybe some nuts. These alternatives can satisfy your cravings without spiking your blood sugar levels. And the last one's focus on balanced meals. Building meals around whole unprocessed foods that include protein, healthy fats, and fiber is key. This combination helps you stabilize your blood sugar levels. It can help you feel full longer. A couple bonus ones, stay hydrated. Sometimes sugar cravings are a sign of dehydration, so make sure you're drinking enough water throughout the day to help curb those cravings. And another one is plan for success. Keep your kitchen stocked with healthy, convenient options to avoid reaching for sugary snacks when the hunger strikes. Meal prepping can also help you stay on track for your goals. Remember, it's not about perfection, guys. If you slip up and have something sugary, don't beat yourself up. Just get back on track with your next meal or your next snack or your next... You made it to the end of the video. I know this was a bit of a longer one, but by now you have a clear understanding on what happens when you cut out added sugars for 14 days and the positive changes that it can bring your body and your mind. Now, if you're feeling inspired to give this a try, well, let me know in the comments below. Have you ever reduced added sugar before? What was your experience like? I'd love to hear about it. Now, if you're looking for more support and guidance, I always say this: the best questions to ask when you're trying to solve a health problem is not how to do it, but who can help me solve it, which is exactly why I do what I do. I help people solve their health and fitness problems. So if you're looking to completely transform your body and your health over the next 12 to 16 weeks, we created an incredible program that have been proven and tested by over 600 clients over the past 4 years. Want to see if you're a good fit for it? I want to extend an offer of a free coaching session for you specifically, where we dive into your goals. We're going to help you identify the areas of opportunity that you can improve or change and give you a bit of a game plan. Now, if you feel like our program is really a good fit and it's exactly what you need to get what you want to get to and you want to explore what that may look like, we can also discuss that. So book a time with me or my team going to the link in the description below. I would love to have a conversation with you. Now, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more science-backed nutrition tips that actually fit into your life. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.